CQ, this is M0AUG calling all them small friends that I have. Regular Thursday evening until that. I'm good to see you people already. And I've no doubt that there were some comments about last night's Zoom presentation, which I thought was particularly excellent. We'll go down the rest of the evening, won't be on. G0TVB in the group. Paul, how are you joining us this evening? I think that's from Paul. G4JBA in the group. Are you joining us online or by YouTube this evening, Jim? I think that's reminded of it, so we'll pick it up later on that. So, it comes down to you then. Next, G4IW with group, M0AG. Good evening, Nick.
M0AUG from G4IW. Oh, yeah, thank you very much, Jeff. And a very big good evening to those already logged into the Reflector and also to those that are listening to us on YouTube. Just to remind those listening on YouTube, feel free to use the chat facility to add in any comments, and I'll make sure that gets fed back to the net. I was very pleased with last night's meeting. As you said when we were chatting earlier, Jeff, between us, that Steve Nichols, G0KYA, is a very knowledgeable and experienced radio amateur, and he adds an awful lot to any discussion on these subjects, particularly propagation and antennas. So it was very good to have him last night and to explain what is a very difficult subject in many ways to understand. But he did extremely well, and was very pleased to see him. So back to you, Jeff. M0AUG in the group, G4IWO.
G4IWO group M0AUG, yes, man. And I agree with the comments there, Nick, on the presentation last night. And the last time I saw Steve and I I think we were sitting having lunch together at the convention down in Kensal towards the end of last year, and just by coincidence on the table there. Very entertaining indeed. I always enjoy his talks. Right, changing routine in the order this evening. Over to you, Bob, and for actually a team group, M0AUG. Good evening, Bob. M0AUG in the group, November 4 X-ray Alpha Tango. Good evening to everyone that is on the net and everyone that is watching or listening. Very interesting presentation last night. I'm sure we did. I think that there were about 31 or so on there, so it was a good turnout, I believe. And Steve does an excellent job, both in presenting and afterwards with some of the comments that were made. He could come right back with a good answer, so I enjoyed that. I've cut way back one quota. Normally I was trying to get maybe 20 a day, and some days I would get maybe 30 or so. In a couple of weeks, I got down to about 10. I've had too many other things that have come up that I've had to take care of, and then I've been playing with a coil that I purchased recently, and finally today I did get it outside. I haven't really had too much chance to play with it yet, but I didn't get it out until this afternoon. But today, it's a nice day here. It's about 53 degrees Fahrenheit right now, so it's a nice day here. The problem is, we've already pushed our clocks ahead an hour, so it's an hour later. Like for instance, last night, by the time I got off the net, I think it was 5:30 p.m. here, about a little past my dinner time. But I enjoyed the group. I certainly did, because I do every week, and I enjoy this group every week also. Back to you, Jeff, and I'll give you some statistics on the next go around. M0AUG, November 4 X Alpha Tango. for Excel for thanking the group M0AG today. Yes, we're anxious to also see on that, Bob, and thanks very much for joining us this evening. There's always something else happening in the way of what we're trying to do, and obviously, whilst you want to do many daughters, and things come along as well. So, over down to MyNet now, and M0RL. Dave sent me an email earlier on there, Andrew, to say he wasn't going to be on this evening. So, you'll try and look after him down there in Thompson. So, over to you, M0RL in the group, M0AG. M0RL in the group, M0AG.
M0.
Check. Yes, can hear this one now. M0RL. I don't know what happened there. It was transmitted some being in this, but good talk last night. I've got his blog page noted down, so I have to look at it. So yes, it was a good evening. Okay, so look, going through again. So back to you, M0AG in the group. This is M0. M0RL group, M0AG Tony. Yeah, just a few dropouts there, Andrew, and nothing that stops understanding you're over there. So I don't know what the issue is you are, but we'll see how it goes next time around. On to our friends in Northern Germany now, DL1. Sorry, DL1 BJW with DL8BDT. Good evening, Mike and Adriana. I hope you enjoyed the presentation last night. Over to you, Mike, please, M0AG.
Delta Lima 1 Bravo Juliet Whiskey. Very good evening to all members and friends of Pennine and to all viewers and listeners on it as well. Greetings from my side and from Adriana, who gives her best wishes to everyone. She is not participating today because she had to be at a committee meeting this evening, so she's not at home and will be participating next week, of course. Today I'm alone, HI. Last night's Zoom talk, that was really great stuff, and it's very excellent. The talking afterwards was also very nice. We had a nice small group afterwards after the talk, and that was very entertaining and very informative also. So WX here today, it has been raining a little bit, but not the whole day. That's something to be thankful for. And the WX, the temperature is relatively low. We have about 1 or 2 degrees centigrade plus in the night on the morning. And at noontime, it was about 7 or 8 degrees centigrade. It's feeling very cold because of a northerly wind. And this shall be staying for some days until the temperature hopefully will rise again to springtime HI. So looking forward to better weather in the future. For this time, I think I call it quits and give it back to M0AUG for the group.
DL1 BJW and M0AG returning. Yes, I'm not that much. They are all enormous to say. So, it was an enjoyable talk last evening. I think everybody so far has certainly enjoyed that. And but you get more enjoyment on that tonight, but Andrea, we'll just have to give it a meeting. But don't tell her I said that. Over to Belgium now. Oscar November 8 November Tango. Good evening, Jeff. M0AG.
M0AUG, the group overnight of Tango. Very good evening and a very good afternoon to everyone.
And also to our YouTubers, good evening, wherever you are. Very nice to meet everyone. And we have about 6 degrees today with some showers. So it feels like in Germany it feels a little bit cold because we have this northeastern wind, I think. But the weather will improve by Wednesday when we will get 15 degrees again, and then the days after that even 17 and 18 degrees. So that's good news. And yeah, okay, about the meeting yesterday evening was very, very interesting. I really enjoyed that. Very competent person to talk about that subject. I think he has a great knowledge. And of course, I like his book about field antennas. That's obvious, one of the best books I have on antennas. And today I experimented with the Probi application, and I was able to make my own propagation charts for March, for this month, from my location to 27 locations all over the world, with short path, long path, some really fascinating. And you could download that into a PDF document so that you can always have it on hand. So I think that must be similar to the ones which are probably published in the RADCOM, but I'm not a member of the RSGB, so I don't have RADCOM, but I can imagine that it is something like that. So really happy that I discovered something new to play with. So yeah, absolutely brilliant. Okay, no, more radio news on the next over, so I give the microphone back to you, Jeff, Mike 0 AUG, the group, 08 November Tango.
November Tango in the group M0 AUG here returning, and thanks for your contribution there, Jeff. So thanks for giving thanks for the people on the YouTube channel which listening to us. And if anybody's got anything to YouTube, stick something in the chat, and it'll be relayed down to us down here on the net. Right, back up some order now, and GM4JKZ in the group M0 AUG. Good evening, Keith.
M0 AUG in the group GM4JKZ. Good evening, Jeff, and one and all. And I've been to Cousin Jim won't be available tonight. He's on his engineering club this evening. So, presentation last night I thought was excellent. I learned a lot new, which is what it's all about. And it also clarified a lot of things for me. And I've been looking at VaroCap today and playing with that to see propagation in different bands, different directions, which is pretty good, I must say. Before I forget, there's a Bartag Ritty contest this weekend, Jeff. So don't miss that one out. I've been trying to get my radio, my Icon 765 working with the Ring Blaster Pro, which I've got working. It's got a funny quirk on 15 meters though. Where it does a lot of relay chattering, so I should be investigating that tomorrow. But I can clear that by actually dropping the software, closing the software, and reopening the software. So scratching my head on that one. And regards Dave, G6LSN, we've been emailing each other about his audio problem on digital, on his 7100. And it's really got me baffled because he's got the same problem on 4 7100s. And I did check with him this afternoon whether it was potentially something on his hotspot, whether one of the settings on the receive offset, for example, could have been off. But it's not that, because when he plugs an extension speaker in, it's fine. So interesting one. That must be something potentially between the radio and the head, perhaps. But I'll have another think on that one. So that's all from me so far. More next time round. M0 AUG with the group, GM4JKZ.
Jeff. Is the group M0AG returning? Yeah, thanks for that, Keith, and we look forward to more news on that. And sorry that Dave's having problems with that. If it is something that seems to have plugged in 371 on this, and I don't know why. We've got plenty of other users on our network works up here with us with that radio without any issues at all. But there we are. I'm sure you'll sort it if anything we can do to help. Let's know. Well, to you then, Martin, and I hope you enjoyed the evening last night. ML1, MLB in the group, M0AUG.
Yeah, M0AUG, one MLB in the group returning. Yeah, thoroughly enjoyed. Had to leave a few minutes before the end. But yeah, Steve Nichols always does a great talk. I've attended quite a few of these over the years at various RSGB conventions. So yeah, you got a good one there, Nick. You got a good one. I'm not going to hold it too long because I haven't been on and I haven't been doing much radio recently, which is a real shame. But I just thought I didn't want to stop you guys. I haven't been on the net for quite a while, so I thought I'd just call in and make sure that you know I'm still around. Back to you, M0AUG, F1MLB.
M1MRB in the group, M0AUG returning. Yeah, fine and that. And we're always pleased to have you on the group here, Martin. And I realise that you've got many other commitments as well. So you can always join us when we can. And don't worry if you have to miss a few weeks or whatever because of what else are you doing. So thanks for joining us tonight. On to Denmark now and Fraser. Oscar Zulu 1, Juliet Kilo Uniform. M0AG, good evening, Fraser.
Okay, I take it because I'm not sure if Jeff is available.
Fraser, you didn't have audio. There was a carrier, but you didn't have any audio. So maybe there is something with the settings of your, what is it, Ambi on your computer or so, but we didn't have any audio. Just see if, Jeff is back. Otherwise, because I know you have some emergencies probably this evening. Otherwise, a little break for Jeff, and otherwise, the station might brush his hotspot, I think, or something. Maybe that person behind that wall sign could come up, and otherwise go ahead from over there to have a tango in the group. I have a tango in the group M0 AUG returning. Just an audio check, please, Jeff.
Really fine. No problem, Jeff. And apologies for no audio. I don't know why that happened.
No, the front now, Fraser.
ON8NT M.
M0 AG returning. And I can't be able to deal with that. That's a problem at all there, Fraser. We've also got in the group on, as Jeff mentioned, MB6MI on the repeater, and I think it's M0OGR Owen who's trying to join the net. Over to you. OGR via GMB6MI. Are you coming into the group this evening, Owen?
Seems to me he's watching through YouTube, from what I can gather from WhatsApp.
Thanks for that, Fraser. Okay, we'll go to Lou. G8KGJ group. KJJ. M0AG.
M0 AUG and the group G8KJJ. Very good evening to everyone. The weather in Nottingham has been cold, some showers, some sun, and about 8 degrees. So I think it's much the same as everywhere else. I enjoyed the talk. I did see it last night, but I did look on YouTube this morning, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. Like many people in this hobby, I've got a little bit of an interest in sunspot cycles, but limited understanding of the science. And it was very, very good, I thought. I do remember Cycle 19, and as a teenager, I was a member of the Grimsby Amateur Radio Society and a shortwave listener. And I remember on club nights during 1958 and 59, I can remember the license members in long distances using a very short piece of wire inside the club room from a 19 set on seven cycles. So yeah, that was a very interesting time in my life. I was sort of being introduced to the hobby. But anyway, I'll go back to you, Jeff, and see what else other people have got from KJJ.
KJJ, who comes here returning. You're fine, Rollo, and the 19 so there was something I don't know, it's many years younger. When I used to live with my parents before Manchester, so I was very fond of the 19th. So, you know, if little balls were there about. Sorry to everybody for the interruptions on that. We had a false start from Denmark. It would appear that although he's logged into here to the Peter MB6MI is actually on the YouTube channel. So I'll ignore those two next time around. Thanks to the top there, Nick. G4IW in the group, M0AEG.
M0AEG in the group from G4IW. Yeah, thank you very much, Jeff. And a very big welcome to Lou, G8KJJ, who will very shortly be the latest full member of the club. So thank you very much, Lou, for enjoying what we do here on the digital net and enjoy the videos. I know you're not often available on a Wednesday evening to join the meetings, but delighted to have you on board as a full club member, and hope you enjoy very much what we get up to. Yeah, it's a bit colder up here actually, 3 degrees currently. It was -1 this morning, and I've been playing with antennas a little bit. I've just been making some modifications to the base of my vertical antenna, and I wanted to set it up outside, but I didn't last very long. It was way too cold. My hands were absolutely freezing, and when you're playing with solid bits of metal outside when it's very cold, it's probably not a very good idea. So I knocked that one on the head, hopefully until next week, when we're forecast to have some slightly better weather. So back to you, Jeff. M0AEG in the group G4IWO.
G4IWO group M0AEG returning. Yes, also I welcome to Lou to be a full member of the club, and thanks for your support, Lou. Right, over to you there, Bob, for T in the group. You were going to tell us more about Pulsar, or not doing as much that. Over to you, M0AEG.
M0AEG with group November 4 X-ray Alpha Tango. I did not hear Fraser at all. I dropped out a couple of times. So I heard Fraser at all, but I think I picked it up on the next over. First comment to Lou. Lou, I don't know. I think you said that you started around 1958. Well, just before that, it was maybe 56 or 57. I'm talking about naval communications now, not amateur communications. We would be in contact, and all of a sudden we would lose all signals, and maybe we would lose them for 2 or 3 days before we got them back. And then around 1958, everything changed, as you pointed out. So I agree that it was quite a time. Around 58 with amateur reception, etc. Ham-wise, or total-wise, I've done fairly well. Maybe in the next go-around I go a little bit more, but so far I have 2,072 new parks. So I really can't complain, but as I say, I have got way back. Of those parks, 169 are DX parks, so I can't complain about that. And I have to admit that 99% of them are CW, but on occasion, when I need to fill a blank, I'll go to especially to SSB, and even occasionally to FT8. To give you an idea, though, I have 5,964 CW contacts to get those 2,000 parks. I have only 215 FT8s and 328 SSB contacts. So you can see I spend most of my time on CW. And probably the reason for that is I can understand CW even without my hearing aids. But without my hearing aids, I can't really do single sideband. So there you go. And FT8, I just play around with this matter. In some ways it's fun, but I still prefer CW. Of course, that's what I started out with. I prefer it. I still have not got Alaska or Hawaii. Hi. You fellows get that, but I don't. Hi. And most of the contacts that I've made have been before noontime locally here. Most of the contacts have been in the morning, so my mornings are usually the best. With that, back to you, Jeff. M0AUG with the group, November 4, X-Ray Alpha Tango.
November 4, X-Ray Alpha Tango, the group, M0AUG, yes, fine enough, involved in yeah, I always knew that the majority of your contacts were CW, but still you have an incredible record, particularly on the Porter side there. And, yeah, we can see how you go on with others there. You've got quite a few certificates now, I think. Right, I am to my head now, Andrew. M0RLO group, M0AUG. M0AUG in the group, M0RLO. A little bit on the radio side, like I've done radio age on Sunday, which talking about radio. But after Martin's suggestion about contacting the chap that runs and produces the Q6 minis, I have contacted him, and he has shipped over a brand new Q6 Mini, which is somewhere between Turkey and Minehead Day, but it hasn't. So, which is extra service, and I need to just return. Doesn't work to his mother, who lives somewhere. Somewhere. So, his address. So, the actual arrive tomorrow now. Use it without Burmans off, which will be nice. I guess that some of the other kit that I may have to put on hold for the new Anycraft. I think I may have to buy it through Europe, so whichever way I buy it, it's going to have tariffs on. So that saves me a little bit of money, so I have to buy it for the time being. But that's about all of my radio friends. So I better pass it back to Jeff, M0AUG in the ROL. M0AUG, I think. Yeah, we'll all have to see how the discussions and chopping and changing on tariffs affect us all, won't they, in the future. I think it's all smooth out, by the lockouts, and one day it's on, next day it's off, next day it's changed, but we'll see what comes out in the wash. Over to you now, Mike, at the L1 BJW in the group, M0AUG.
Delta Lima 1 Bravo Julie Whiskey. First of all, Bob and for XAT, congrats to your amazing results at COTA. It's always astonishing. Well, very well done. My results in last week's radio activity, there hasn't been so much, I'm afraid. At the beginning of the week, I had a contact on FD8 on 10 meters into Delta CP8 Zulu, Comoros Islands. There's an expedition. In last weekend's time, there was the South America contest where everybody could attend, and I worked at CW and SSB and had some nice contacts with low power. I was using 10 watts and the Rybakov ground mounted vertical antenna, and had a contact into K0, Alpha 2, and Papa Yankee from Brazil. And with 5 Rybakov ground mounted vertical, I even worked Foxtrot Yankee 5 Kilo Echo, French Guyana, the northern part of South America at CW. So that was quite nice, good conditions and good results there with very low power and a compromised antenna. COTA way, I was playing a little bit with 50 watts and CW. 10 meters had a contact, surprising for myself, with WP4TZ from Puerto Rico. Was a protest station parked on the air, and that was working with CW there. But it was actually at this time of the day the only station which I could hear here on 10 meters CW, and yeah, sometimes it's difficult for me to receive on 10 meters. Obviously, don't know what's the cause for this, but of course there are lots of noises here around my house, but that couldn't be the only reason. I'm not quite sure about that. I had a nice contact on 40 meters with a 10 watts CW and the Rybakov vertical also. Was surprised that it worked also on 40 meters. It should work on 40 meters because it's too, it's not high enough. It's not enough. But nevertheless it did, and I was working Richard from Denby Dale, M0RBG portable, doing PODA activation there, and I got him and got a nice reply there. Yeah, so far on my side. That's all. Microphone back to M0AUG.
You do a whole more on the radio than I've been able to do with other commitments in the last week there. Really good in that, and obviously you've had some decent contacts out of that. Obviously working with the deputy council, but I'll be pleased about that other things as well. Over to you there, Jeff. Oscar and Pennine, Nerve Tango in the group. M03.
M0AUG, the group over 8 November Tango. Okie doke. Yeah, first of all, Lou, G8, Kilo Juliet, congratulations. Welcome to the club. Nice to have you on board here. That's very nice. And also congratulations, Bob, to your parks activation. I mean, you are hard to beat. You really are hard to beat. So that's absolutely. I will probably never reach that level. I'm quite sure about it. And okay, Mike, very good about your Delta 68 contact and your QRP contacts there during the contest. I haven't done that much. Not much radio actually. I think the conditions were not that good during the last couple of days, so I focused on satellite. I have been doing FT4 on different satellites, especially on the Romeo Sierra 44 with 10 watts and a vertical. And I worked into the States a couple of times and also all over Europe, so that's good fun. If there are no conditions on HF, well, let's try satellite. That's my strategy, so to say. And okay, Keith, well, I will. The British Amateur Radio Teletype Group contest. I'm really looking forward to that because those are always very good contests. I really like the formats and so on. So I hope to catch you there, probably on 40 meters. So we have them already. So we should probably be able to contact each other again. I have registered myself to a conference here in Belgium, which is a HAM conference. It's called the HAM Belgium 2025, which is at University of Leuven, which is actually a get-together from all people involved in radio, be it ham radio operators, scientists, academic people, makers or hackers, whatever. There is a nice concert on Saturday, the 26th of April. The program is in English, by the way, because we have that problem. We are Dutch, and so we speak English to each other. So that opens the possibility for other people to join. And there is even one speaker who is from Ireland, I think, and will be about new developments into radio technology like SDR and digital voice and satellites and things like that. One of the Belgian presenters will talk about ham radio beacons aboard a pocket cube satellite for investigating sporadic E in the ionosphere. So that has a link with the talk of yesterday. There is also a talk on radio astronomy and on weather radars and things like that. And even a workshop on building a TDGS station. I don't know what that is, but then that's the Irish guy who is going to tell about that. So it's in English. So if anyone has any idea to come, you can make a long weekend. Leuven is a nice city to stay, so that might be a good idea. Okay, so that's the news from my side. To Mike Zero AUG, the group over November Tango.
Okay, November Tango through M0 AUG turning. Yeah, thanks for that, Jeff, and thanks for us on the conference there. If it's English language, then it could be okay for people. We don't speak in all languages over there, but not a problem with that. I noticed when you and I were talking offline the other day, for that you did for me, it was very easy to transfer the information on the website back into Dutch, from Dutch into English rather than it's a great deal. So thank you for that there, Jeff. Over to you there, Keith. GM4JK's in the group, M0AG.
M0AG, the group GM4JKZ. Yeah, thanks, Jeff. And that sounds very interesting, Jeff, this conference talk. I wonder if it's going to be recorded and put up on YouTube or something of that ilk. Would be interesting if it was. Bob, I think we're going to classify you as the master. I think 2072. That's pretty good. I don't think many people are going to come close to you, that's for sure. So, yeah, we should have a certificate for you for that one. Although you've got lots, I know, as you were saying previously. Radio-wise for me, the 3000 is still down at the London Emporium. I've heard nothing, so I'll probably give them a call tomorrow afternoon to see whether it's in the loop or not. And like Nick, I was getting a bit chilly this morning. It was interesting weather-wise. Had horizontal bands of dark cloud followed by blue sky, then dark cloud, blue sky, and each band brought sleet up here. So that was interesting. About 6 or 7 bands of that come through in the course of about 2 hours. And then it warmed up a little bit. But today's not been too bad. It's cold, like everyone else has got down there. And we did get the dogs out this morning, though, for a reasonable walk. As I say, like Nick, I was out sorting out my vertical because of those bands of sleet coming through yesterday. The top of the DS Commander, I reckon, was about 8 feet out of vertical with a curve on it. And I decided I would see whether it survived rather than go and get covered in cold stuff. So I've sorted that out today, and that's all up and running. It is all okay. No problems at all. And that's really about most of my radio this past week. Topping up the shack and trying to get. I've got a LiPo battery that I built with 21 cells, so it's a 12-volt battery box. And I've noticed on YouTube there's I forget his call sign now. There's a guy who's put various other modules inside the lid for 5-volt output, battery voltage monitoring, and so on and so forth, and charging circuits. So I'm in the process of organising those and cutting those in before I seal it up. So there we go. Okay, back to you, Zero AUG with the group from GM4JKZ.
GM4 Jack. I said, the group M0AG, yeah, fine, the chief. I think you hold an awful lot more on radio than what I've done recently, but sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Family commitments and things take over at the time. So over to you for the comments there, Martin. And one MRB group, M0AG.
Yeah, it's AUG, one of our in the group. I'll be honest with you, I'm sounding really bad because I've done very, very little radio. But very interested what you guys have been talking about. Yeah. But what I did get, changing the subject slightly, because looking at the age of most of the people yesterday, you will have used one of these at some point in your life. I got given an AVO 8, a Mark 1 AVO 8 yesterday, on Monday night. And I believe the Mark 1s were manufactured between 1951 and 1954. I could be wrong, but that's what the website said. And this one is not far off of factory as good as it when it left the factory. It's almost immaculate. And the guy was, I'm going to find the skip. No. And as I say, all it needed was a couple of batteries and just the adjustment pots for the zeros cleaning. It didn't take long, but it's still as accurate as any other meter I've got. So, yeah, a little bit of interest from there, but just shows you 70 years old and still working. Anyway, I'm waffling so I'm going to pass it on. This one my final. One MRB.
M1 MRB and Group M0AG, yeah. Thanks for the input there, Martin, and always pleased when you're able to join the group as well. So thanks for your input this evening, and we look forward to the next time that you can catch up with us again. And, yeah, I remember those meetings, yes. And also talks of the 19th said, take me back to my early teens, when we used to have an army cadet force in the school and this type of thing, and we all played around with the old 19 cents as well. So there we go. Thank you for joining us this evening, Martin. Look forward to the next time. Over to you, Fraser. I didn't catch your list up to now. What was anyone of you in the group? M0AG.
Techie problem. Windows update last Tuesday, Wednesday, that screwed my audio. So unfortunately, you got dead air. Forgive me. Anyway, hopefully Al can hear me. Great audio from you, and nice to hear you. And is the New Jersey back up running, or are you not doing anything on there? Be interesting to know. And be nice to hear you on the 15 meter net at some point, maybe. And today we had pretty odd weather. Only 100 kilometers from me, about 3 miles or something like that, north of us, they had very heavy snow, wet and miserable stuff. But it was heavy, it was absolute chaos. By 11 o'clock here, after it stopped sort of raining and sleeting, I managed to get out and do a bit more on something I've been doing over the last 3 or 4 days, which is building basically a greenhouse, which I think you can call an orangerie. It's got a high point and it's in the letter T. But it basically is a green. But anyway, I've been building that, and that's been a bit of a chore, to say the least, with the cold weather and all the rest of it. Anyway, great to get that going, and maybe by the weekend we can put some glass in it. I hope so. Presentation last night was a disaster. I was there, almost pushed the button, but fell asleep before I did. And then by the time it was all over, it was not worth joining. So forgive me on that one. I met Rob the other day on G5RV. He's one of the local Sussex people, and he was working the club call sign G5RV, so I've worked that one. Listen out, because it gets activated quite regularly at the moment in this year. Been working, you don't know that one? No, I'll forget that one. Sporadic, interesting. I wonder if that's how you've been working things, Jeff, on and off, or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, GM4JKZ, my DX commander has suddenly gone very high SWR. I'm not sure why, but maybe you can give us a WhatsApp message and say, well, look here. And a lovely present you got, an Avo, fantastic. Still use those in the Navy, Mark 1s and Mark 2s, fantastic things, and wonderful. 20 years old and still working strong, well, that's great. Anyway, enough of me. I'm waffling around, and you probably all totally misunderstood what I've talked about. So back to the group. Take it, Jeff. Thanks very much indeed for to keep the group going. I say one JK.
JK, you're in the group M0AG telling. Yeah, a few questions to be answered there to get asked over there, and no doubt people will pick those up as we go along there. And before we start on the last round, we'll go over to Lou. G8KJJ in the group, M0AG.
M0AUG, G8KJJ. Yes, fine business. Thanks to everyone for the welcome. And Bob, I didn't really start seriously getting involved with amateur radio until 1958, so I didn't actually see the dropout of signals over a 3-day period. But I got the receiver I used during that time, which was an R107. I don't know if anybody remembers that huge receiver, which you needed the enormous strength to move about. I don't think I could pick it up. It's still in the garage, and it's of course, but it's popping up something in the garage. I've been a little bit disappointed with the sunspot, this current sunspot cycle. In that the 6-meter propagation hasn't been very good. In previous cycles, I've managed to work into the States, but I haven't heard anything from that direction, which has been a bit disappointing. The last sunspot cycle was bad, but this one, in terms of six meters, has not been very, very good at all. I think maybe it's down to the MUF not being high enough, and there's been no propagation by the F layer. Anyway, I won't hold it. Fraser, I've had trouble with Windows several times in the past 2 or 3 months, and it's usually caused by an update, and I think possibly it's been pretty universal. Anyway, I'll make this my last over, and it's been interesting, and as I say, the presentation last night was really excellent. So I'll say first of all, and look forward to the next one. So back to you, Jeff. M0AUG in the group, G8KJJ.
M.
AUG, certainly. Flying around Lou, and once again, thank you for joining the evening, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did in the various comments that have come round out of slightly smaller number tonight, but you know, nobody can be available all the time, can they? And once again, you know, welcome to full membership of the club. And, thank you for your support on that one. Right, one or two dropping out this time round. I'm going to suggest, Nick, that we go down the normal route, the other members, and then come back to you for a final before we bring on the guys who like to send pictures, which is basically M4XAT, GM4JKZ, and Oscar November 8, November Tango. So we'll go around the others first, and I'll sort the order out, and I'll open up everybody out, and then we'll take it from there. So over to you for your finals, Andrew. M0RL in the group, M0AG.
M0AG in the group, M0RL. Well, thanks for bringing the net again there. Jeff, I'm sorry I didn't have much to compute this week. I hope to say next week that the Q6 has arrived, and I've been giving it a go, and it all works. So that's fingers crossed for that. I'll try and catch up with Dave as well, see how he's feeling. And I doubt there'll be much to report back from the rain at AGM, but if it's pertinent to what we're doing, I will let you know. But in the meantime, I hope everyone has a good week on the radio, and I'll catch up with you next week. So this is M0ROL, wishing you all 73, and passing back to Jeff at M0AUG. M0RO, group M0AUG returning. Okay, Andrew, thank you for that, and thanks for joining the net this evening. Do give Dave our best wishes. We also have M7CRM on the group platform. He's Dave's next door neighbour, but he's never actually come on the air yet, so maybe do what you can to see if you can influence a new joiner to the group. He may be a bit reluctant because he's got a recent call sign, but he's, as you know, he will be welcome. So thanks very much, Andrew, for joining the group this evening, and look forward to catching up with you again next week. So over to you there, Mike, for your finals evening, and best wishes to Adriana when she comes back from her committee meeting as well. DL1BJW in the group, M0AG.
DL1BJW was the final. First of all, thank you, Jeff. I will relay your good wishes to Adriana. And thank you, Jeff, for hosting the net and doing an excellent job again. Thank you to all of you for your company, good ideas, and very interesting comments. And one word to Jeff on 8 November Tango. Good work on the satellites, Jeff. This is, especially for me, it's very interesting. And I think perhaps I will start to do some experimenting there myself. Perhaps not in the first try with FT8 and FT4, but with SSB or FM. But I think it's worth to open up this already closed part of my ham radio history again and do some new or old, which I have been for quite a long time, but the last time was years ago. So that's a good idea. Thank you for that. And all of you, wishing you a very pleasant weekend coming up, a very good week following up, and hopefully see and hear you all safe and sound next week. And until then, 73s from Northern Germany, all the best wishes, and passing the microphone to M0AUG.
Returning. Yeah, thanks very much for joining us this evening there, Mike, and hope that you're back up to full speed, flies now, and look forward to catching up with you next week. Right. We're just doing a picture. Keith's doing a picture. Martin's opted out. So we'll go over to Fraser now for your final. Who's on JK0AEG?
Okay, for my final. A good RA88, so I need to work on maybe on the RA7s, which were the equivalent, but on a slightly modern version. And I think they made it in the UK. I was sure. Big Arcend, no, not from here. And is anybody working the Arabian satellite, you know, the transponder in the air, up and down? Because the actual fact that it's quite good. You can listen to it on the Goonhilly SDR, and there's quite a lot of activity. But it's obviously a section of the world where its footprint is. But it's quite fascinating, and lots of German stations are QRV. Anyway, many thanks indeed, Jeff, for hosting. And I'll let everybody get on to the digital pictures. And nice to hear you, Bob. That's great. And maybe you can hear you on 15 meters during the week. How's everyone taking you now, clear? Bye-bye and goodbye.
So everyone checking you. Group M080 returning. Yeah, many thanks, Fraser, for joining us this evening, and I look forward to catching up with you and Newport News next week. So I think apart from the finale from Nick, then we got the so when Nick's finished, we'll go over to Bob for your picture there. And then we'll, in fact, I'll do a final with you there, Bob, and a picture. Over to the same thing with you, Keith, on the picture, and finishing off with Jeff. So over to you, Nick. GWO, and I should like to see you easy.
M0AEG in the group from G4RWO. Yeah, thank you very much, Jeff, and thank you again for chairing the net this evening. There's a comment from Owen, M0OGR, on the YouTube channel. He just makes a comment relating to Mike's report on the Rybakov antenna. He said that his homemade Rybakov 806 is still one of his go-to antennas for portable if he's got the space for the radials. Always has very good results with it. So good comment there. And we haven't commented on it here before, I don't think, tonight, Jeff. I missed last week's net, unfortunately, as you know, because I was away. Owen, who was 2E0OGN, got his full license and is now M0OGR. And a quick shout out as well to Owen. He has his own YouTube channel. If you search for WY, which stands for West Yorkshire, WY Radio Adventures, that's Owen's YouTube channel, and he puts up videos of some of his portable operations. And I did put one into Pennine Ham earlier today. So if anyone hasn't seen that, do go and have a look at his YouTube channel. And I agree with Lou about the MUF not really going that high. It's opened up 10 meters. The sunspots have opened up 10 meters regularly. I've had a lot of fun on 10 meters CW the last few weeks. I just was looking at the QSOs that I've made there on CW. Lots of US stations from the East Coast to the West Coast, down to the Falkland Islands, down to South Africa a couple of times, Papa Juliet 2, Papa 8 in Brazil, X-ray Echo 1 in Mexico. So some super propagation and lovely clear signals. Even if the signal strength is not enormous in terms of moving the meter, because of the very low noise on 10 meters that we all get, and I've certainly got here at home, you can pick out these stations. They sound very, very strong indeed, even if they're perhaps only S4 or S5 on the meter. And I had to smile at Martin's comment about the Avo 8. I've got my dad's old Avo 8 here. It wasn't the Mark 1, it was the Mark 2 that he got. and he brought it back from work one day in the 1960s when he said that they decided to upgrade to the latest version of it, which was the Mark III Avo. I think that would have been in the mid 60s, 67 maybe, when the Mark III came out, around that time, 67, 68. And in the lab where he worked, they decided to get rid of the Mark I Avo 8s. Lovely, lovely analog meter. And I have to say, when you're doing measurements, that I do find the analog meter extremely helpful on the Avo. And Lou, as to the R107, I've never had one of those. I remember it was a beast. I had the CR100 at one stage when I first started as a shortwave listener, and then progressed to the AR88. If I remember rightly, Lou, all those radios were of very similar weight, all around, knocking on the 100 pounds range. I've got a feeling, I seem to remember lifting up the AR88, and you had to be extremely careful with your back to do a proper lift with that, because it was a really, really big radio to play with. But all lovely, beautifully made, and bring back very fond memories of using those in my early days, first as a shortwave listener, and then when I first got licensed. Just a couple of bits of news for those that aren't on the WhatsApp group. Laura is out, one of our club members is out in Gran Canaria, signing as EA8. I'm hoping she's going to post on Pennine Ham when she is going to be on the radio, and we can all have a look out for her and try and get a contact with her. She did post today. She hadn't had any luck with QSOs today, and just had a QSO with a solitary EA station yesterday. And I know that Phil G4UDU is shortly off to the Canary Islands in the next week or so, and he's going to be operating portable from the beach down there as Echo Alpha 8 stroke G4UDU. So I know he will post on the WhatsApp channel, and I'm quite sure that a number of us will attempt to make some contacts with him. So thanks everyone for a lovely discussion tonight, and I will update the club calendar and the web page with our meetings as we get them in the diary. Unfortunately, the person I had booked for a couple of weeks' time has told me today that unfortunately he's not available for completely understandable reasons, that he's been in contact with me. So just rescheduling his for later in the year. And I've got a couple of other people that I've asked to see if they could swap what they were going to do to pick up the meeting in a couple of weeks' time. So hopefully I'll get that sorted in the next day or two. So 73s, everyone, have a lovely evening, and I'll look forward to seeing some of these pictures. Back to you, Jeff. M0AG in the group G4IWO.
G4IWO. Thanks, Nick, and thanks for doing the work on the YouTube channel. And before we close it out this evening, certainly to everybody who's been watching on YouTube, and hope you enjoyed the net as much as we did. So before we go into the pictures, just thank you again for watching that Modern RB, and also to Lee, Lou, G8, KTG, and for joining us this evening. Well, you signed up and you don't want to be involved in the finals. Also with you first was everyone break you. So what we'll do now, we'll go straight into the picture gang, and each one of you can have a final picture at the end. So we'll start off with Bob, November 4 X Alpha Tango in the group, M0AUG. Thanks for your contribution this evening, Bob. Over to you. In the group, November 4 X-ray Alpha Tango. First of all, Fraser had asked about me on the New Jersey. I had to give up to New Jersey. I also had to give up my trips to the submarine. Not my idea, but my doctor's idea. So there you go. What else can I say?
radios back when I started out. When I started out in the Navy, we had 3 radios just for the bottom portion. We used the RB series, and it took the RBA, the RBB, and the RBC. Each of those radios by themselves probably weighed as much as I did. And if you added the power supply to it, the power supply weighed as much as the radio and the cabling. I couldn't believe the size of the cabling back then. But one nice thing about that, when the Navy went to the SP600, the Hammerlin SP600 receivers, they surveyed the RB equipment, or a lot of the RB equipment, and I got an RBC check. So there you go. So I made out there. So that was good. Also, back to POTA, as of this point, I'm losing ground. I'm only been at just about the top 3% of hunters now. I was this morning at noontime, I was 1,246 out of 45,664 hunters. So I'm losing ground because I'm not getting enough. And Jeff, I have somewhere, the way I count, around 120 certificates from POTA. Now, POTA doesn't count in the same way as I do. For instance, they'll give me an OASIS award for 20 contacts with one park. Well, if I get another park, I get another OASIS award. But they only count that one time as an OASIS award. So I count it as 2 because it's different parks. So my count is a lot higher than the way POTA counts. So I count, hey, if I work 2 parks, that's 2 certificates. And I do have copies of each one. So they, like I say, approximately 120 of them. Let me see, that was the phrase where I answered. We talked about the I think I get everything. Oh, in my picture, I made up the photograph tonight. I have a couple of tubes or valves, as you like to call them, and then a couple of other things just to see how the picture comes out tonight. But that will be my photo. I'm just interested to see how it comes out. And thank you, Jeff, for running that. And I look forward to it every week. Back to you, Jeff. M0AUG with the group, November 4, Extra Alpha Tango.
Myself, a tango in the group, M0AUG. Yes, and we certainly enjoy you being a part of the group every week. I look forward to catching up with you next time. Okay, so we'll just wait for your picture now, please, Bob, and then we'll pass over to Keith. Please send me your picture now, Bob. Great picture, another sample. I need to have a tango, M0AUG. Have you got blocks on Bob's picture, Jeff?
It's 100% perfect picture from Bob. 100% perfect, Jeff.
Thank you for that. But over to you, Kip.
From GM Paul BKZ, just sending a picture for you. And yeah, just as my final, just been giving Fraser an update on WhatsApp, so hopefully he can sort his problem out. On the Avo 8, I actually had a Mark III when I joined the post office on the engineering side, and mine was a Mark III, but know it well. The Avo name on the front of the leather case was replaced by PO, so no one could deny where it belonged. And radios wise, when I was 13, believe it or not, I bought from the local emporium in Brighton R107 receiver and powered that with another 19 set power supply. So great stuff, I must admit. Okay, picture coming. It's no lighthouse, and the interesting thing about this one is its position. The white square in front of it is where most of the body of a helicopter lands, so that'll give you an idea of its size.
Perfect picture, Pete.
ON8NT.
Nice picture, Keith. That's on location too. Here also, Keith, got a picture here also. Good, that's fine. So, thank you, Keith, and thank you both for yours. Over to you, Jeff, for your finals and your picture, please. Oscar November 8, November Tango, Rubem 0EG.
M0AUG, the group 08 November Tango. Yeah, fine copy on both pictures, 100% from the first time, so that's excellent. Yeah, just some short points about what has been said. I will inform about the friends here in Belgium if they have any YouTube streaming or maybe during or after the conference, if things will be available on YouTube. So that might be interesting to know. As the program is in English, that might be interesting for some of us. Okay, and Pete, congratulations on your battery review there. There is an amateur here, not far away from me, who has done a lot of that. Actually, he can run his whole house on these batteries, and he calls his website, if you look for secondlifestorage.com, I think, secondlifestorage.com. That's his website. His calls on his own Seville uniform, Oscar November 7 uniform, and he is part of the VU4, the expedition is taking place now. So quite interesting. He is describing the whole process. So that's about the batteries. And then, the satellites, Mike. One good FM satellite for the moment is the SO124. The headers. It's a Spanish new satellite and quite strong, I must say. So definitely want to try. And I think QO100 phaser. No experience with that, but it's on my to-do list. But on the balcony, it's a little bit to place it. So the HOA police will probably not like the HI. Okie doke. Now to the picture. The picture will be also a maritime picture. Picture is from the Belgica. The Belgica was a bark-reached steamship that was built in 1884 and that took part in the Belgian Antarctic expedition of 1897, becoming the first ship to overwinter in the Antarctic. So it's a historic picture of photograph. So hopefully that will come through quite well. It's the picture is from the harbor of Ostend, where that ship was arrived after this expedition. Okay, thank you very much, Jeff, for hosting the net. Very nice to have a good meeting with all of you, and also a very good evening to everyone on YouTube, or a very good day everyone on YouTube. Here is the coming. QRX, the picture is coming.
Perfect picture, thank you, Jeff.
And perfect hitch. I love the little steam launch in the front there.
Picture okay with you, Bob?
M0AU.
Apparently I doubled. It's 100% here. Thank you. Okay, Jeff, thank you for that, and thank you to everybody for your contribution this evening. It's been another good net, and if I didn't have you all on that, you wouldn't be a net at all. Catching up with you all next week, and see how you go from there. Good DX in the meantime. Take care and stay safe. M0AU.